Welcome to the grants training with the Global Grants Ambassador Danny Dyer. It is with great pleasure that we welcome him and Olivia in Mauritius. Daniel will speak about his background on how he became the Global Brand Ambassador and speak about the history of grants. You will also have the chance to taste them, as you can see. If you have anything unclear, just raise your hands and we will assist you. Toilets are outside just on your left, and after the session, a finger lunch will be served. I'll leave the floor to Daniel and enjoy the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't clap yet. For all you know, I could be shit at my job, okay? Look, a massive thank you for everyone coming out today. I would like to say, from my point of view, wow, because everyone was here on time. I travel a lot with my work, and I've learned that there is South American time, African time, and that usually means everyone's a bit late. But everyone today was on time, and you had to travel a really quite crazy distance to come here, so no pressure on me at all. Today we're going to talk about whiskey. It is an open session. Okay, so I know most of us are industry, most of us are working behind the bar, serving drinks, making cocktails. That's where my experience comes in as well. So I've been in this industry, the drinks industry, for about 15 years now. I started work at a distillery, then I went to a bar, then I wrote a book on the stuff, then I went to a whiskey bar, making cocktails. If you have questions about whiskey, please ask me. And I mean whiskey in general. It doesn't have to be one of the products from Grants, such as Glenfiddich or Balvenie or a Monkey Shoulder, or indeed Grants. Please don't be scared, okay? We've got a few hours together. This is your time to get to know me and ask things. I know that's easier said than done. Some of you will be like, I'm not gonna ask him a question. It's a stupid question, there's no such thing. So if you don't feel comfortable asking me a question, afterwards you can come and see me, or indeed you can go on Instagram and just message me. I will reply to Instagram messages. I do not reply to emails. My team hates me for it, okay? I'm always on social media. I don't reply to emails, so you can just hit me up at Danny Dyer on Instagram. So, cool. You know about me, I'm a guy that travels the world and talks about whiskey for a living. But I don't know about you yet. So, if you have done a whiskey tasting before, can you just put your hands up? Who's done a whiskey tasting? Oh shit. Okay, cool. We got like a good 50-50 split. Just out of curiosity, if you've done a rum tasting before, can you put your hands up? Yeah, I could look at that. That was a happy murmur. People were like, fuck yeah, rum. Okay, cool. So, if I was to ask you, what is the most important thing? What is the very first thing you should do at a tasting? What would you say? If you know what the most important or the first thing is, put your hand up or shout at me. What's the first thing you should do? Don't be shy, guys. Yes, what's the first thing? Check for the color. Check for the color. Great. Check for the color is one of the first things you should do. I wouldn't say it's like directly the first thing. I think there's a very more important thing than checking for the color, but you're right, you should check for the color. Anyone else? Drink. Okay? I have done many whiskey tastings, and I have been to many whiskey tastings, rum tastings. They're all great, but the most annoying thing is when you get someone like me standing up here doing this for like 20, 30 minutes. The first thing you should do is drink, and that is what we're about to do. And it's a very important reason that you should drink. It's to wake up your nose, wake up your palate, and settle you into the tasting. So if you're ever doing a whiskey or a rum or any type of tasting, always get people drinking straight away. It actually really helps you as well, as someone who's training, as an ambassador, as a bartender, because the more people drink, the funnier you tend to become, okay? And it helps with the language barrier thing as well. I know you all speak English here. I can barely speak English, I'm Scottish. So if I do speak too fast, or indeed if I swear, I apologize, it happens. but just put up your hand and say, Danny, what the hell did you just say? So, let's drink. Let's do it. That's why we're here. It's pretty early in the morning, right? Bet some of you are like, oh man, I've just had some coffee and a bit of breakfast and now we're drinking. Best time to drink is first thing in the morning. Okay? That's coming from a Scotsman. Why is it best to drink in the morning? Because you have a fresh nose and you have a fresh palate. But some of us have to drive in the morning. Some of us have to go to work and we can't drink in the morning. So if you're ever doing a tasting, usually at night, or you have a few friends over at your house and you're drinking some whiskies and you get to the point where you can't smell much or you're struggling to smell and taste some of those flavors, do yourself a favor and just put a little bit of paper over your glass and go to bed. When you wake up, first thing you do is take the paper off the glass and smell it. You will notice a massive difference in the smell from that whiskey you were drinking last night with a few of your friends to what you would smell in the morning. It's just a really, really handy tip if you're ever going to be writing tasting notes or you're talking to your customers about the different flavors in your whiskeys or rums or whatever. Always, always, first thing in the morning, even if it's an empty glass, just go up and give it a smell and write a few things down. Okay, so in front of you, you have 2 glasses of beautiful Scottish water. The first glass we're going to be drinking is the glass on our left-hand side. So most of you will have a glass that looks like this. I think some of you have a little tumbler glass. So it's a glass on the left-hand side. This whiskey is Grant's Triplewood. It's the one we all know and love. About 6 years ago, it was called something else, Grant's Family Reserve. Why did you change the name? We changed the name because Family Reserve means nothing. Lots of people can say family this or family that. It's lovely, and it is a lovely thing that we're a family company, but it doesn't really tell you about the whiskey. Triplewood tells you we're using different types of wood in our whiskey. By the way, it's the same liquid. We just changed the name. So, I believe someone said colour was the first thing to look at, and it is indeed the first thing we'll look at. If you just sort of pick up your glass and swirl it in the air, you just hold it up. This is a really important step, especially if you're sitting alone at a bar and you want to look really cool. Just hold that glass up and swirl it around. There is a reason that we do this, and that's to coat the whiskey around the glass. You'll see a line of alcohol on your glass. That's known as the bead of your whiskey. From this line, you'll start to see drops coming down and falling back into the glass. This is the legs of your whiskey. If these legs are thin, they're close together, and they're falling down quite quick. It tells you the alcohol volume, but it also tells you about the body, okay? Grant's Triplewood is quite an easy drinking blend. It's light, it's sweet, and it's fruity. That's why you've got so many legs running down the glass quickly. However, if you were to do this with a stronger whiskey, such as a cask strength whiskey, maybe 45, 50, 60% alcohol, those legs are going to be thicker and they're going to be further apart. Just a cool way to tell, before you've even smelt it, how heavy or how light your whiskey might be. The colour is a light golden colour, which tells us about the woods. In fact, I'm going to tell you about the woods later, so we're not going to go into that. The next step is the nose. It's breakfast, so it's probably going to nip your nose a little bit. Don't be scared. Put your nose in there and take a big sniff. Yeah, this is when people are like, wow, this is what we're doing. It is alcohol, so it is going to nip the nose a little bit. The people that are laughing, I know it's a nervous laugh. I see you. If you find that that's nipped your nose and it's maybe made your eyes water a little bit, that's because you did exactly what I told you, right? Because you've plunged your nose in there and you took a big sniff. If you're struggling to get any smell apart from maybe that classic whiskey alcohol smell, try open your mouth a little bit This looks weird, but trust me, it works. So if you open your mouth a little bit and breathe in through your mouth and your nose, it actually airs some of the alcohol, the top alcohol notes out. So breathing in through my mouth and my nose, I think this is quite cereal notes. We have back home, like, it's called frosted cornflakes. As a kid, it was one of my favorite cereals. Just basically cornflakes covered in sugar. It's a really, really healthy breakfast. And what you would do is, after I ate it when I was a kid, I would have like the sugary milk left over, but it smelled like the cornflakes, like that cereal note. That's what I get when I smell this. It's also fresh apples for me. So freshly cut green apple, when that's cut open, you get that sort of zingy, fruity note coming through. Tell my mum I'm busy. And then it's a little bit of sweet jam, okay? It's a little bit of strawberry jam for me. If you don't get any of these things, that's okay. I guarantee that in the next 10 to 15 minutes, when we come back to this whiskey, you will smell some of these notes. Everyone has a different nose, everyone has a different palate. There are no right or wrong. Does anyone get any different smells from this? Oh, you're all so shy. Just wait. Once we have some alcohol, you won't be so shy. Okay, next step. This is my favorite step. I'd probably say it's the most important step. It is, of course, drinking. I'm going to ask you to do another thing that's quite strange. I'm going to ask us all in a minute to take a sip, but hold it in our mouth. We're going to hold it in our mouth for about 5 seconds. I know that seems odd, but trust me, after we've done that, we won't have to do that again, and we can sip it like normal human beings. But the reason we're going to keep it in our mouth is to completely coat our palate. But before we do that, I think it's only fair that we say a little Scottish toast. I know, I'm in your country, and I should probably say your toast, but this is Scottish water, and it's come all the way from Scotland, so it's time we speak some Scottish. I don't speak Scottish, by the way. Less than 1% of Scotland speaks Scottish. The word for our language is Gaelic. But I do know this phrase, and it's Slanjava. And Slanjava is basically in English, to your health. Okay, it's often shortened down, and you've probably heard it, slange. Okay, it's a very Scottish word. Basically it means cheers. But I think we should say the whole thing, because too many people just say slange. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to say Slanjava. We're going to take a sip. We're going to hold it in our mouth for 5 seconds. I will count you down, and then we'll see what we get. So, Slanjava.